In the third section of chapter 1, we are going to be writing expressions. So before we write expressions, let's remind ourselves all the different ways to say the different operations. Let's start with addition. Okay, for addition, you could say sum plus more than total increased by. Okay, if you have any more, you can go ahead and add them to that list. Let's make a list for subtraction. Difference, less than. Minus, decreased by. When they give you an expression, you're usually going to keep the order in which it goes in. So for example, if they say 5 plus x, you're literally going to write 5 plus x. Okay, so always keep in order from left to right. Except when you see those switch words. There are 3 switch words for addition and subtraction. To, from, and than. When you see those 3 words, you're going to switch the order. For example, if you have x more than 5, instead of x plus 5, it's going to be the opposite, 5 plus x. Okay, so let's do some examples of these. The sum of 2 and a number x. Please write this down. In this example, they give you what your variable should be. They're not always going to do that. They're not always going to give you the variable. The sum, that means add. So I know which operation we're doing. The sum of 2 and a number x. There are no switch words here, so I'm going to use the exact order. 5 less than y. Okay, less than means subtraction. There is a switch word in this one, so we are going to switch the order. It's not going to be 5 minus y, instead it's going to be y minus 5. Okay, let's talk about multiplication. Here are some words that mean multiplication. Times, product, of, multiplied by. Okay, with multiplication, you're always going to list it, not necessarily in order like addition and subtraction, but instead you're going to list the number and then the variable, and they're going to be right next to each other. I'll give you an example after we write down the division words. Quotient, divided by, and divided into. Division works like addition and subtraction, where you're going to list them from left to right. Well, maybe I don't want to say left to right, but division, you're going to want to use the fraction bar instead of the division symbol. So maybe you want to just say list in order. And I'm actually going to put that here, fraction bar. Not that division symbol. There is a switch word for division, and that's into. multiplication. Multiplication does not necessarily go in order, x 10. Instead, you're always going to do the number first and the variable second. They are going to be touching. You're not going to use the x to show multiplication. You're not going to use a dot. You're not going to use parentheses. Just put them right next to each other. Now, if they said 5 times 10, that's when you'd want to use the dot or the parentheses. Half of the number t. Of means multiply, so we're going to put them right next to each other. The quotient of 5 and k. No switchers in this division problem, so I'm going to list it right in order. For division, we're going to use the fraction bar. The quotient of 5 and k. So those are simple one-step equations. Let's try some harder ones. Yes, please write these down. If you need to push pause, go ahead and do so. 8 times the quantity, 4 plus the number n. The trick to these is starting with the quantity and working with the other stuff later. 8 times this quantity. So let's start with the quantity 4 plus the number n. There are no switch words there. 4 plus the number n. Okay? That's a quantity. To show a quantity, you're going to put it in parentheses. Now we have everything that's not underlined. 8 times that. The quotient of the square of a number w and 5. So again, you kind of have to find a quantity for these. The quotient of the square of a number w and 5. So we're dividing this by this. That and separates the numerator and the denominator of our fraction. The square of a number and divided by 5. 5 more than 3 times the number w. Again, try to find that quantity. We're adding 5 to this. 3 times the number w. 3w times means multiply. 5 more than. So usually we would do 5 plus this quantity, but this is a switch word. I'm going to switch the word. Okay, 2 more. The length of a building is 20 feet more than its width. Write an expression for the length of the building. So they give you a variable for the width. This is what I'm looking for right here. Write an expression for this, for the length of the building. It's 20 more feet than its width. More than is a switch word, so we're not going to do 20 plus w. It's w plus 20. You and 4 friends meet to have dinner at a restaurant. Everyone decides to order the nightly special. Write an expression for the total cost of the meals. Okay, so you and 4 friends. Think about how many people are sitting at that table. You and 4 friends. There are 5 people sitting at the table that are ordering the 5 same meals. So the cost is the same. Do they say, they do not give you a letter for the variable? I'm going to call the meal n. Meal, we have 5 meals. That n, that cost of the meal is the same. So we are multiplying 5 times the cost of the meal to find out our total. Okay. Now our lesson kind of takes a turn. So we're no longer writing expressions. Instead, we're finding unit rates. We're going to be converting here to find 1 in the denominator. Okay, so let's say we're dealing with beats per minute, like a heartbeat. And let's say someone has 120 beats per minute. Okay, which is high. The average heartbeat is 60 to 100 beats per minute. And we want to convert this to beats per second. We want a 1 in the denominator. Beats per second. Now I'm going to use the slash. The slash means per. Instead of writing the word per, you can use slash. We talked about this in 7th grade. We did do this. We spent a while on it. We have 100 beats. Yes, I'm going to write everything out. Per 1 minute. Okay. Our goal is to get beats per second. We want seconds down here. So we're going to multiply it by a unit conversion factor. Remember, that's a fraction. Unit conversion factor is, for example, if you're trying to convert time, 60 seconds in 1 minute. Do you see how they kind of mean the same thing? 60 seconds in 1 minute. Okay, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get rid of minutes and replace it with seconds. So to get rid of minutes, we're going to put it across from each other because they're going to cross reduce. And we're trying to get seconds in the denominator, the unit conversion factor. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. Okay, 60 goes on the bottom because there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. There's not 60 minutes in 1 minute. Okay, now that I have my unit conversion factor, I can do some math. I'm going to cross-reduce these two numbers. And I can also cross-reduce labels. You see that these don't have the same labels, but if we look the other way, these labels cross-reduce out. So 2 times 1, 2 beats per 1 times 1, and the only label on the bottom is a second. Okay. Not only did we convert what they asked us to convert 2 beats per second, we also have a unit conversion factor. All your conversions should be a unit rate, not a unit conversion factor. In the end, they should all be a unit rate with 1 in the denominator. Okay, go ahead and try this one. Well, just kidding, I don't have one for you. We're going to end there. These were really simple ones, okay? These were 1-steppers. On your homework, they're going to have 2-steppers where you have to change the beats and the minutes. We're going to do more examples of that tomorrow.